What's up guys, Infernape here. Now if you're going to hear some like wind going through the mic, or if you hear some sort of noise in the background, it's mainly because this room is so freaking hot! So, I kind of need the fan on. So, hope you understand. It should come to no surprise to you that Naruto is my favourite anime of all time. Everything about it is just perfection. The story, the plot, the characters, the powers, and the best part, the fight scenes. So, I'm going to be going over my top 10 favourite fights in Naruto. I'm going to be doing a separate list for Naruto Shippuden, so if you want that to come out soon, let me know, because I definitely am planning to bring that out soon. I just don't know when would be the correct time to do so. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. What are some of your favourite fights in Naruto? If you agree with any of the fights that I put on my list, if you think I missed a fight, and if you have any video suggestions for the future, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's get into the video! At number 10, we have Naruto vs Kiba. Now this fight actually took in the in-between stages of the Chunin exams. So this took place after the second Chunin exam and just before the final stage of the Chunin exam. When the fight started, Naruto was completely overwhelmed with Kiba's man-beast transformation and all-force jutsu, as well as fighting two opponents at the same time. But he managed to gain the upper hand by using some transformation jutsus to catch them both off guard. When I mean both, I'm talking about both Kiba and his dog Shikamaru, because Kiba is a hound specialist user. And that fight was such an amazing fight, and I'll tell you why. Because from the start of that fight, everyone underestimated Naruto. Even Kiba. Like, literally everyone was expecting him to be gone in a flash. And it just was so heartwarming to see that Naruto managed to, well, beat the odds, you know? He was able to show everyone that he isn't the same person as he was back at the academy. So I found that fight very, very heartwarming. Plus, the action was very, very good. So, I kind of have to put it into my top 10 because it's the first fight we see when Naruto came out of his shell and proved that he's not the loser from the academy. At number 9, we have the Bell Test. Now this took place within the first 5 episodes of the show. And I gotta say, it did not disappoint. It was an amazing fight. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura to take on Kakashi, who was not only one of the top jonin in the village, but was also once in the Anbu Black Ops, so he was the furthest thing from a pushover. Kakashi was so confident in his skills that he even allowed them to use weapons and jutsu, because according to him, if they didn't go at him with the intent to kill, they wouldn't get the bells. So basically, I don't want to spoil the bell test too much, but basically, they had to get a bell that was around Kakashi's waist. Still, it was an amazing fight. Naruto was great. Sasuke was great. Sakura was Sakura. But anyway, this fight was so good, and I felt like it's kind of underrated because whenever I see top 10 fights in Naruto, I rarely ever see the bell test in there. So, I definitely think it's very, very good fight, and definitely worth mentioning, because it's a very important fight. At number 8, we have Sasuke versus Orochimaru. Now, I kind of feel like most people would think that this fight deserves to be higher on the list, but I actually really liked other fights a bit more than this one. Kind of because it was a bit short. But still, it was a great fight. Due to the power and experience difference, Orochimaru dodged, redirected, and endured all of Sasuke's attacks while dealing out his own. But in time, Sasuke got the hand of his Sharingan and fired powerful fireball jutsus, which did little to nothing. After a while, Orochimaru got the upper hand and it looked like it was all over for Sasuke. But Sasuke managed to use a brand new jutsu, the Dragon Flame Jutsu, and it burnt off Orochimaru's disguise. This fight is such a great fight. Well choreographed, well animated for its time, and definitely very, very good. I feel like everybody was on the edge of their seats when they saw this fight. Definitely an amazing fight, and definitely worth mentioning. At number 7, we have Shikamaru versus Tamari. Now, I know for a fact that one person I know is going to be livid when he sees this fight is where it is, because this person basically has the hots for Tamari. But I'm sorry, it's just not as good as other fights. But still, it is an amazing fight. Love it a bit. During the final round of the Chunin exams, Shikamaru's opponent was Tamari, and as expected, he wasn't motivated to fight at all. But once Tamari started attacking, Shikamaru had no choice but to fight. For a while it seemed that Shikamaru had the upper hand, but since Tamari already seen his powers before, she already found countermeasures for him and quickly overwhelmed him. He cleverly waited for the sun to get lower so the range of his shadows will increase, all the while trying to get her towards the two-way hole in the arena that was made in the last fight, and then immobilized her. As you can see, this fight was very well executed. It was all about brains. Not only about brawn, brains. Like, Tamari was fighting with both brains and brawn, but Shikamaru literally only used his head during the fight. It was so well executed and very well thought out. I gotta say, that was a very good idea on the creator's part. Such a good fight. And I definitely feel like a lot of people will agree, because I've seen this around on other people's top 10s. It's a decent fight. At number 6, we have Naruto, Jiraiya, and Tsunade versus Orochimaru and Kabuto. Now, this fight I feel like is very underrated. It is such a good fight. Like, let me run it by you and I'll explain to you why I think this is a great fight. It started with Tsunade and versus Orochimaru and Kabuto. And it seemed like that fight was in Tsunade's favour due to her overwhelming strength and the fact that Tsunade rerouted Kabuto's nervous system. But Kabuto went toe-to-toe with her by using his own medical ninjutsu to weaken her strength in both her arms and legs. After figuring out how to continue the fight even after having his whole nervous system being rerouted, he managed to get back up and almost killed Tsunade. But Jiraiya, Naruto, and Shizune came and stopped the attack. Jiraiya stalled Orochimaru while Naruto, Shizune fought Kabuto. But since Kabuto exposed Tsunade's fear of blood, she was out of commission. Literally, this fight is so good. Like, not only was it with brawn, but brains. Like, I love a fight where they do brains and brawn at the exact same time. Such a great executed fight. There's one of the bits that makes it so good, but I cannot say it because, well, it would be spoiling. And this top 10 is basically for, veterans and newbies. So, I don't want to spoil too much. So, trust me, if you want to find out what makes this fight so amazing, you need to go watch Naruto. Literally, this fight is so bloody good. I cannot express how good this fight is. Well executed, great battles, great powers, great animation, just a great fight. At number 5, we have Team 7 versus Zabuza and Haku. This is the first proper fight in Naruto, and it does not disappoint. This fight is so freaking good. Trust me, everybody knows about this fight if you have seen Naruto. It is such a good fight. For a while, Sasuke overwhelmed Haku with his speed, but once Sasuke was trapped by the crystal ice mirrors, the tides turned in Haku's favour, and Sasuke had so many needles in him he looked like a hedgehog. After a while, Haku wanted to take on Naruto, but then he decided to take care of Sasuke first. Everything Sasuke and Naruto did couldn't break the mirrors, but after working together, Naruto and Sasuke learnt the timing of Haku moving between the mirrors. Even then it was hopeless, because he got right back up and almost killed them both. But just before he killed Sasuke, his Sharingan activated for the first time, and he dodged the attack. All while this was happening, Kakashi was fighting off Zabuza, and it looked like an even match. But Kakashi used his ninja house to stop Zabuza in his tracks, and then we saw his signature attack for the first time, Chidori. Such a good fight. Great animation for its time, great fight, could have gone either way. It was so well executed. Like, you can't deny that this is an amazing fight. Plus, it showcases everyone's fighting skills in their own individual way. Plus, there's one other bit that makes this fight so good, but I can't say it because of spoilers. So, you'll have to trust me on this one. Literally, this fight is so good. Trust me, you need to watch Naruto just for this fight. It is so good. At number 4, we have Naruto versus Neji. Now this fight is definitely quite interesting because it's up against someone who believes your birth and your skills determines your future, and someone who believes that if you work hard enough, you can build your own future and destiny. So, this is quite an interesting fight if you ask me. Due to the power of the Byakugan and the Hyuga's fighting style of shutting down his opponent's chakra points, everyone thought Neji was the clear winner, and that was proven even further when Naruto couldn't land a single attack. Naruto thought he caught Neji off guard with his shadow clones, but after Neji saw that it was a trap, he used the 8 trigram palm rotation to knock away Naruto, and then moved on to the 64 palm to shut down Naruto's chakra points. So then Naruto decided to use the 9 tails chakra, so the fight was more or evenly matched. This fight was brilliant. It was smart, it was brawn, it was weaponry, it was power execution. It was just a great fight. The martial arts in it was amazing. Like, Neji's fighting style can be used very well in real life. I should know, I'm a martial artist. But it's not as, well, as you may see, because obviously the way they use chakra in the show doesn't exist. But I'm actually a big believer in ki, chi, chakra, depends on what you want to call it. So this fight is very well executed, and personally, it's a massive favourite of mine, and I feel like it's a favourite of a lot of people. At number 3, we have Naruto versus Gaara. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody knows this fight. Like, if you know someone who's seen Naruto, they've probably talked about this fight beforehand. Not as much as some other fights, but this fight definitely deserves its credit. Naruto had to fight Gaara to save his squad and everyone in his village. But he was no match for Gaara due to his sand protecting him and with his unpredictable, uncontrollable rage. So Naruto tried to summon Gamabunta with the summoning jutsu, but since he was low on chakra, he could only summon a small toad called Gamagichi. So, he had no choice but to fight him himself. He tried wrapping a paper bomb around his kunai, hoping that'll at least knock him out, but it did little to no damage. So he used his shadow clones to make thousands of clones to use the Uzumaki barrage. And it did knock Gaara off balance, but it just made him so angry that Shukaku grew to the full size and tried to kill Naruto. But just in time, Naruto summoned Gamabunta in time and took on both Gaara and Shukaku. This fight is hype level. Such a good fight. Action, powers, animation, everything. There is just so much going on in this fight. So many good things, and hardly any bad things. So that's why I believe this fight deserves its place. But there are 2 more fights to talk about. And literally, they make this fight look like nothing in comparison. At number 2, we have Rock Lee versus Gaara. Now, anybody who has seen Naruto knows about this fight. And if you haven't seen Naruto, and you know someone who has, they've probably talked about this fight beforehand. This is GOAT level. Well, there's also one other fight that's GOAT level, but we're not going to talk about that for now. Let's talk about this fight. During the second round of the Chunin exam, Rock Lee was put up against Gaara, but the start of the match was completely one-sided, due to Lee keeping his distance with Gaara's sand. Lee managed to avoid the sand from touching him, but Lee couldn't land a single hit on Gaara. After a while, Guy Sensei told Lee to take his leg weights off. And when he did, it caused the arena to crumble where they landed. This way, Lee could move even faster. So much faster that the sand barrier protecting Gaara was almost rendered useless. Afterwards, Gaara overwhelmed Lee with merciless attacks. It didn't help matters that Lee was in severe pain after using the primary Lotus, and so he couldn't dodge Gaara's attacks anymore. In the end, Lee used the 8 inner gates to increase his power and speed by leaps and bounds. By doing this, he managed to dodge Gaara's attacks again, plus he managed to deal major damage on Gaara, and he was able to move faster than the sand could keep up with Lee. This was probably top animation for its time. Literally, it was so bloody good. Like, I got majorly inspired from watching this fight, because it shows that even if you can't do a lot of things that a lot of people can do, you can improve on the things you can do and be just as good as other people. This fight was so awe-inspiring. Trust me, if you watch this fight, I'm sure you can be inspired to do something that most people say that you can't do. But there's still one other fight that we need to talk about. And finally, in number 1, we have Naruto vs Sasuke. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone saw this coming. Like, literally everyone knows about the fight between Naruto versus Sasuke. It is such an amazing fight. Most people overshadow it with the second fight that happens in Naruto Shippuden, but I think this fight is just as good. After leaving the village, Sasuke joined the Sound Ninja Force to gain more power and to become a student of Orochimaru. Why? I cannot say because of spoilers, but trust me, there's a very good reason for it. Naruto caught up to Sasuke at the final valley and tried to convince him to come home, but Sasuke explained that he's going down a path that no one else can follow, and if Naruto tried to stop him, he would kill him. Eventually a fight broke out, and it was an ongoing seesaw match where both sides showed impressive displays of weaponry, ninjutsu, and taijutsu. At one point it was an evenly matched fight, then one side had the edge, and then the other side had the edge, and that kept going throughout the fight, and neither side even thought about giving up. This is a GOAT level fight. I don't care what people say. This is GOAT. Like, animation, fight, ninjutsu, taijutsu, power-ups, powers. It was so good. Like, this fight is just probably one of the best fights, if not the best fight in Naruto as a whole. Like, I cannot explain enough how good this fight is. Like, it is by far my favourite fight in the original series of Naruto. And that's why it's at number 1. And now then guys, hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did, and be sure to let me know down in the comment section below if you enjoyed this video as much as I did making it, which fight you agree with, which fight you think I should have added to the list, and if you have any video suggestions for the future, be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Like I said, I did make a top 10 for Naruto Shippuden fights as well, but I don't know when will be the correct time to bring it out, so tell me in the comments how soon you want to see this top 10. Did you enjoy the video as much as I did making it? If you did, be sure to give it a massive thumbs up, comment down below, share this video with a friend, and if you're new, subscribe to my channel. It's been Inferno today. Okay, that's all from me, so until the next time, this is Inferno, signing off. Bye!